All right, guys, here we're going to talk about an episode of iZombie, Season 4, Episode 4, the continuation of Episode 3.
Parts due.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like this continuated epic episode, you know, for something to end in like a cliffhanger.
No, and it was more even just to be able to do the things that you set up.
Yeah.
Right? So you could have reordered all these things and had them be not like, you know, I didn't feel cliff hung last time. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
Right?
Where I was like, what?
Whatever.
When I hit play to start this episode, I was like, now where did we even end off that this is going to be an epic thing? And I didn't even think it picked up exactly where it left off. So I was like, there was no real. It could have just been an episode.
They just call it that.
It was nothing super special.
It's fine. Putting that aside, I thought this was fine. We got some stuff. There are some hilariously bad things and some things I liked.
What did you dislike?
Oh, God.
What's a hilariously bad thing?
Let's just jump to that, then. Major as the wrestler brain guy.
I loved that, actually.
I thought that was so bad.
I thought it was so bad,
okay.
but it made me laugh.
Okay.
Where, like, not a lot of the actual jokes make me laugh in this stuff. So it's usually you're laughing because something is like what the fuck? And, like, he waned on me as it went, but when they slipped me wrestler brains.
Yeah, so when it started...
I thought it was hysterical.
When it started, I was kind of like that. When he does like the jump and then he stomps the ground or whatever, I was like, okay, cool. But as it continued, like I got those like uncomfortable like feelings when you're like, oh God, stop this. I was so like embarrassed for them that I was overwhelmed and like shook with like, I was like, I started to vocalize and go, no! I started to make noises because he kept doing it. And there is a humor to the fact that he keeps doing it. And there's a humor to be found in like, that's his interpretation of a wrestler brain or something like that.
Yeah, and when he got to the dancing, it's just him flexing and doing it. I was like, all right, it's not funny anymore. Just cut away.
Yeah, no. It definitely, like, I appreciated it, but also had this visceral negative reaction to it. Really bad. Oh, God.
Yeah, I liked it, but then it grew on me as very bad. The whole Babineau thing I thought was a little cringy to me.
The open relationship thing?
Yeah, like when
we finally find out, right?
We find out it's an open relationship.
So Liv saw Dale making out with some other dude.
Mm-hmm.
This was a whole weird thing because earlier he's like, "I'm on pills to, put my dick at ease. It's standing at attention."
Yeah, so it makes sense that they're open because she needs it.
Well, but now, so she was like, "We're gonna figure this out, honey. You know, it's gonna be okay." So were they already in an open relationship then? Or
they don't.
Was that her version of
open to interpretation?
Was that her version of like figuring it out? Did she say, I know, here's what we'll do. We can both fuck other people instead of each other, and that way everything will be fine.
I don't know. But I know he's not partaking.
No! As you would not, unless that's your thing, which is not everybody's thing.
But they are definitely pushing that new relationship on him, and the Fates and the Lives along are making that want to happen. And I do think that's going to happen because this is a show that's like an on-the-nose type of show. They don't ever hint without it being a real fucking thing.
Okay.
Like, Ravi and What's-Her-Face Peyton are getting back together at some point because they've been fucking saying that over and over and over again.
Sure. That makes more sense than this.
And same thing with Liv and Major are going to get back together because of how, like his, I just want you to know I'm happy for you and I always want to be your friend.
It's funnier looking back on it than in the moment I was so like, ugh.
Yeah.
No, I.
But like, what are the odds
totally
that like
agree.
there's a Macho Man Randy Savage brain in the fucking quarantine?
No, there's no. The odds are zero.
Like, why would a professional wrestler be in this area?
They think that so they can be smuggling in brains of like important, interesting people, perhaps.
Yes, I just don't feel like they're doing that.
But like just saying a wrestler, right? Every wrestler is not the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Almost none of them.
In fact, by sheer volume and like percentages, it's a very low percentage of them are the Macho Man or someone acting like him, right? So that's even crazy to begin with. That's just what we think a wrestler is. Like,
and even if he is, that's his on-stage persona. He's not like that in life. And that's the problem with this show is that they don't understand how people work.
That's far too deep, right? So even if this was, this is Major's impression of what a wrestler would be because Major's lame, right? But that isn't how the brains work.
No.
You're supposed to literally have their memories and personality and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it can't be that. It has to literally be what that guy was like, which is awful. It's awful. And it like reminded me like, oh yeah, Major's a zombie, but he doesn't do personality stuff a lot, and this is why, because he sucked at it, right? Once he became a zombie and started eating brains, I remember being like, oh no, I thought Liv was spotty, Major's Swiss cheese.
So here's something else that maybe I missed. Let's cut over to Blaine and
I love Blaine.
Was Scott E, Robbie, Bobby, whatever his name is,
Don E.
Don E.
Said everything but Don.
Yeah. So maybe I missed something or I'm an idiot. Now, the brain he's currently on is the one that he turned human, killed, and ate, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, that guy, for Blaine eating the thing, is incapable of lying.
So that guy...
The reason he died is because he was capable of lying, of keeping a secret. But now Blaine's giving away every secret he ever had.
Okay.
The ones that he would want to keep, which are the ones that the guy who died wanted to keep his secret.
Such as the renegade thing,
the man had loose lips about things he didn't care about,
yeah.
not things he did care about.
Right, so the guy was like, they chose to interpret his personality as being like he's a gabby, chatterboxy dude that's volunteering too much information. I guess it's fine.
He phrased it as I am incapable of lying.
I know, yeah, which it seems like someone's not reading the script or not doing their work to figure out what to do here.
Because in my head I was like, did I miss a scene where Fillmore Graves slipped him a brain of truth serum or something? Like, because I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I hope not, because that's crazy, right? No. I did like, though, Blaine's portrayal of that guy, because just from, like, my memories of that guy, Blaine was, like, doing mannerisms and doing things that guy would do, and I really, really liked that. So that sort of overshadowed it. I thought the jokes with him saying too much were fine. It wasn't, like, the end of the world. But as a continuity
it just felt
thing,
like this thing where
Blaine,
it would feel like somebody has a spell cast on them and they don't know it's happening the way it's happening to him, but he is fully aware it's happening, so why would he be out in the open constantly?
That's the whole thing with all these brain things is like, there was a time, and I think I said this last time, where even Liv would be like, oh, sorry, that's the brain talking, that's bad, whatever, right? But it seems like more and more they've just taken it, we're like, no, the brain like takes over.
Yes.
It's like, it's not only... are you not able to control yourself, but you're not able to even retrospectively go, oops, I shouldn't have said that, which makes no sense.
The show is changing for the worse in that regard, and that's just annoying me.
It's weird that they think that that's better, because I can't imagine there were a lot of complaints before.
No.
Because that's more interesting. We're like, oh, you're like fighting against this thing. We're like, oh, the brain wants me to love the Seahawks, but I just have to chill on the Seahawks thing.
Yeah.
And it's this whole thing where like you can tear open your shirt, go Hawks, and it's underneath, and you're like, trying not to do it or whatever, right? But they just run with it instead, which I don't.
Yeah. We find out.
A little bit more on Blaine. Let's just ride out Blaine.
All right, ride Blaine.
The interaction with him and Donnie. There's no I in billionaire.
There's three.
He's like. He says something like, yeah, you and me. And he goes, there are three. It's like that third one's silent. That whole thing, I liked that a lot. That's like dumb, but like I liked it with the humor between them, with the whole like, am I underpaid or whatever? And then having them go raid Renegade and then deliver her in like a sack, and Blaine's like,
Did you like that servant guy that the dad like killed is a zombie now? He's not dead.
I thought he was a zombie this whole time.
No, because he had problems with his plantar fasciitis.
I know that, but
he was a human, 100%.
I don't know what he is, but he gets shot and it's totally fine. So
now he gets shot.
Yes,
he had never got shot before this.
I know, but there's no.
He had never been injured before this.
Sure, but there's no, like, I have no idea, like, if he became a zombie when he was attacked with a hammer by Blaine's dad, they didn't show anything or, like, indicate anything with that.
No, but that's just poor writing on the show.
Yeah, I know. Attacking him with a hammer shouldn't do anything to a zombie, and it should, like, kill a human, right?
I assumed...
So why are they just leaving this
I don't know. Unless he got turned at some point that I'm not remembering. I know he was a human because they sent zombies to, like, do things for him because he was a human.
Okay.
So, like, he certainly was a human when he was working for Blaine's dad. And I don't remember him ever being turned to a zombie. Yeah, but now he's clearly a zombie.
I don't remember him ever being turned. And just in my quick, like, thing for season 4 of, like, who's a zombie and who's not, I think I just, like, assumed he was.
I wasn't even 100% sure until today that Major was even a zombie now. I was like, is he back, forth? Like, how many times has he been switched? I wasn't sure which way he had ended. But
he was eating some brain tubes.
Well, yes. But like... I never knew if he was keeping up appearances or if he was actually there.
Oh, well, they strung that along for so long that was the whole thing, where he's like... Oh.
But now he's on brains, so he's clearly... But it would be a funny, horrible twist if he still wasn't, and that's why he was talking this way, because, like, they slipped me... What was it? Wrestler brain? Oh, yeah!
I mean...
It's not... that's just me wanting something. That's not what's happening at all.
But the show could do things like that if they wanted to. They could do a lot of things. with people hiding things and not doing things. Okay, that's basically the whole Blaine arc, right? So Blaine now, as far as he's concerned, him and Chase Graves are straight, and he's going to be doing his own thing and his criminal empire and all that stuff.
Yes, we'll be free to grow again.
Yeah, I would describe the whole thing as like fun. With the Blaine angle and the Donnie and everybody.
He's certainly going to have problems with his dad soon because he's not been back to the well to see his dad yet. He doesn't even know yet. How often was he feeding him? It seemed like he was feeding him all the time before, and now it's like days and days.
So I'm hoping there's an angle there where he was feeding him so he was just barely stringing him, keeping him alive.
Probably.
And that's why he's all messed up now or whatever. Or kind of why he's all messed up.
We saw our first homeless-ish zombie that was actually turning into a like zombie.
So that's where it opens. We have a starving zombie that comes into the scratching post, and he's doing the thing where you eat off of everybody's table.
Yeah.
And then the Chase Graves, the Fillmore Graves soldier Dick guy, who was the Shakespearean actor dude, does this awesome like, let me shake your hand, whoosh, and just like punches him and
breaks his arm.
Yeah, it's great. And that's what pushes that guy. There's actually some like writing here where that guy gets pushed into like the church of Blaine's dad.
Yeah.
And then we also have a whole thing with Tucker, the dude from the video that the tough girl scratched.
He's also pushed in that world because like his world doesn't want him there anymore, and they refuse to kill him like they had a pact for, but they give him a gun so he'll kill himself.
I thought some of the strongest stuff in the episode was when he goes back to his old friends to like the bar, and they're like, "We don't like your kind. You can't come here anymore." And then it cuts to the bartender and they have a sign up on the wall like "No zombies allowed."
Yeah, there's like a dead like fake zombie on the wall. I thought the strongest part for me of the episode was when the bartender is telling Don E. and Blaine that, like, this Fillmore Graves guy beat up this kid and pretty bad in the bar the other day. And they go, I don't care about that.
Oh, no,
and they're both on the truth serum brain, so it just was extra
That was
funny
a wonderful
for me.
moment. No, getting Donnie to, like, eat the brain things, too, and having this whole thing. Just like Blaine's walking by, and Donnie's like, if my sister was as hot as yours, I would be all for it. He was telling this whole thing, and you're like, oh, my God. Like, everyone's doing this whole thing. Which, you're right, though, doesn't make sense at the end of the day. But, we're just having fun.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But that's part of the problem of this being just like a comedy-ish show is that they throw a lot of logic and bullshit out the window for the sake of a joke.
They should keep their own internal logic, though. I feel like there's more than enough room for jokes and still being consistent with some of the stuff.
Well, it's lazy writing in most situations here.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
damn it, Rob Thomas.
But like I didn't really catch that thing that you're talking about. But that's the kind of thing, like, there shouldn't be things that are so easy to be like, wait a minute, you had to eat his brain because he wouldn't tell you something, and now you're just telling everyone everything. That's ridiculous.
It's annoying.
Right? Things like that. Those things should not be there. You shouldn't have that sort of thing happening, where a character's whole thing was one thing, and now that something happens, it's like, oh, never mind. Right? We've done this many times with many of the characters.
Exactly.
Robbie is bait for the coyote dude.
I like that little accent a bit where he's like, you were doing a different accent? Oh, I thought that was funny.
It's pretty good.
All accents are the same. He knows that.
No, there's some fun stuff here. And then Liv comes in and goes, hello, governor. It's all right, ma'am. And then he's like, you sound like a garbage disposal with a vocal fry. I was like, oh, it's amazing. Oh, accent talk. Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Good accents.
Yeah.
Yeah, they catch that guy, and that went off without a hitch. I thought there'd be something more for an episode that made us continue. That would be like, he caught Robbie on the thing. He slipped away with him. He's got him on a hostage, like something. Yep. Nope, caught instantly.
You would think more hitches, but this show's done that before, where something's built up to and then it just happens or whatever. Like the bright spots were the comedy, like we're talking about. A lot of that worked. I was having fun for that whole journey. I like him calling out like this is like Freddy Krueger's like
and it is,
which we had said. Yeah, it's like exactly like the whole deal. And then later, even to have someone compliment him, like, I heard about the Dutch oven case. It was really good. Yeah. And like, oh, the oven did say Dutch on it. Oh, that's hilarious. Like dumb stuff like that. Again, I feel like that's like the show doing
just them being a joke,
doing its stuff. Makes sense.
Yeah, and that guy had the perfect burn of like DU or whatever onto his hand. You're like, oh,
whatever,
come on.
like a few of the letters that he hit or whatever. Yeah. I mean, that's I'm okay with stuff like that. That's not the end of the world. Yeah.
People being caught literally red-handed is always a little bit like,
Yeah.
Especially since it went off without a hitch so easily. I was like, that was just a little piece of fucking...
No, and like, it would be more okay for me if the police work only was incidental and got in the way sometimes, but sometimes the show is really all about the police work. And that's why it feels bad to have the police work sometimes just be like, we just had to get all these characters together so they get stuck in an elevator and talk about this other thing, right? Which is like, if the show was always like that, that would be awesome. Because, well, I mean, maybe, but that would be acceptable, because that would be like a fine way to like approach it.
Yes.
But the fact that sometimes we're like, oh, we have to investigate and hack and do the thing, right?
Yeah, teeter-totter so hard that you're like, ugh. She meets Tim again. Tim is a closeted, zombie supremacist.
I loved zombie supremacist. That's hilarious. I feel like that's super topical now with how divided politics is and how crazy some people are. That I like if you see on like Tinder, people are starting to put things or have been for a while about like if you supported this candidate or if you support
Don't
this,
talk to me,
if you call yourself a libertarian, swipe left or like immediately like things like that. So it's awesome to have him be like, oh no, we're genetically superior and all that stuff. And you're like, this date's over.
I didn't care for him very much, so I'm glad that he's not a new part of the show.
Were you worried that he was going to be like one of our new characters and stuff?
I'm always worried.
Whenever you see
somebody, I'm like, oh god, am I gonna see them again?
Whenever I see any character, I'm worried.
Yeah, but I have a thing. Whenever I like a character, they're gone for good. Like the
Sure.
Anchorman guy that's dead.
Oh, Storm Blaze something. What was his name? I love that guy.
Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze.
Yeah, he was good. What else happens in this
episode? Do a whole spin-off with him. That's basically it. They do a dance-off. It kind of plays us out of the episode.
Yeah, that's just played out.
We had different... there was Kiss Me played this time, because I knew the name of that song. And I'm like, And they do the same joke again, which I liked it the first time. It's okay, I guess, to do it again, but it was interesting.
For baked goods, which I thought was interesting.
Did the same thing. What?
And when she says the alcohol, was it the lemon or the vanilla abstract, and it's like, and it goes that love thing.
They do the same thing again where she's kissing Tim, and then
it
cuts back to Peyton and Robbie like, oh,
well, they think that's so funny. It would work every time.
It is funny though. So that's why I'm torn. It's not maybe as funny the second time. I caught a thing when they were like, it's a dance-off, and they said zombies over here by the exit and humans on this side by the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that supposed to be a thing? And then it just was a dance-off, and I was like, okay, fine.
Well, yeah, for a brief moment, I was like, oh, sweet. Is this a thing where they're gonna just kill all these people, and you have like Peyton and Robbie there, and
Robbie with an eye patch and a sword, and just we're doing it finally. Yeah, no, I had that little flash, and then
of course
not. Another thing. So, but we must give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that every spoken word and like choice and shot and dialogue was intentional.
Of course, so, there's no way that couldn't have been.
Yeah, it has to be a thing where.
But that was the joke for them. Yeah. I don't think it was a setup. I think it was like, this is funny. Humans by the kitchen, zombies block the door. Like,
exactly. I was like, oh man, yeah. So, but that turned out to be nothing, which is still fine or whatever. So I don't know if you caught this, but as they're doing the dance-off and panning out and around, Captain Seattle's making out with Tough Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty brief, so I was like,
maybe I didn't catch that right. I didn't think that was Captain Seattle. For some reason, I thought that was Tim.
They have similar haircuts. But I recognized the shirt was not. Tim was wearing like a fake suit jacket shirt.
Okay, I didn't look too detailed into it, but I saw that face and I was like, oh man, now she's making out with a zombie supremacist, but I guess not.
No,
so that's better then.
Well, it's better, and it actually is setting us up for a thing now where they're going to be out there doing stuff. We didn't really get into.
Well, and at the church, we forgot to mention.
Okay, I was just going to say that.
The church happens, and they're about to die there. They get the phone back, which is what their mission was in the first place.
Yeah.
And they're like about to die when Blaine's dad comes out and goes, "Oh, it is the Chaos Saint or whatever he calls him."
And he's like backlit all dramatically. It was this awesome thing.
And that lets them go. But before that, leading them to the church was they were at the bar and like fucking they're trying to avoid this like, PR nightmare of the phone getting out with a guy getting scratched.
Yep.
And he just shoots up a bar.
So let's discharge an automatic weapon.
Yeah. And I guess nobody was filming, and who would believe you or whatever, but I'm like, there's bullet holes in the wall.
Yeah.
Anyone would believe you.
And I feel like this is supposed to be some sort of character development, right? Like, they are talking...
That was a badass.
Yeah, like, they're talking smack about... No, like, this whole episode for me was this whole, dissection or, like, thing about Major, right?
Sure.
Because Major's wrestler brain thing is a perfect example of how lame and horrible Major is.
Yeah.
But then a scene like this makes me think back to... Remember when he just came in with the shotgun into like the meat, was that also called Meet Cute?
I forget what that was called.
All right, he goes to like the butcher shop where they're doing the brain stuff.
Yeah,
and he goes in with the shotgun,
Rambo.
and it's like filmed differently, and like the grading and the like lighting and stuff are different. And you're like, what's going on here? This is awesome. My mind is totally changed about this guy, and then it just like fell off a cliff or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think he's protective of these new people that are on his team, and they're kind of getting in their face, and things are escalating, and he's like, "No, I'm going to do this thing, right?" I don't know what that's going to mean for his character going forward.
But he doesn't exercise that later when they're actually in danger.
In the the church, yeah.
So that's like take that as you will, the protected by the plot bullshit. But yeah, that's kind of everything that happens this episode.
Yeah, well, Blaine's dad did say, like, you can leave this time.
Oh, yeah, but next time you're dead.
But the next time
I'll rip your head off you with my hammer or something.
Well, do you like that he always has the hammer, and that's his thing?
I guess you got to have a trademark. That's his
You got to
thing.
be on brand. You got to have a thing going on. I like it. It's
They'll
like a
sell
dumb
iZombie
detail.
hammer soon.
Well, he's over the top, and that's cool. Like I said, I feel like the actor's having a lot of fun with it, and it's like an outlandish part. It's not just if that were played too seriously, I think it would be a real drag. But I like his whole. It cuts to him every now and then doing like they want to take your brains. These are your brains, and he's doing stupid things or whatever.
Now we're building to something where it's going to be the three-way of action between our heroes, the soldiers, and the church. And that's going to be interesting.
Because think about it, Blaine's like a crime boss or like whatever, and he might just say to Chase Graves, "Hey, this is not my problem. Maybe it's bad for business, and I'll think about it. But this is not. I have no skin in this game." But it's his dad, so now he's like, "Oh no, right? He has to do." And they're interrupting the brain supply. They're not patronizing his establishments, right?
Sure.
They're rioting in the streets. Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time he threw Dad into a well, so I could see him coming back.
Well, that too. Just being like, "How'd you get out of the well?"
Yeah.
Bad boy. You're going back in the well. Okay.
All right, guys. So that's this episode of iZombie. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.